Hi and welcome to winemastery.co.uk. My name's John Lightfoot. This is
John Murphy.
And we're here to help you find the wine, if not the wines, that you will absolutely adore. And hopefully a few that you're quite like on the way to finding the ones that you absolutely adore. How about that, John? Do you think that's what we're trying to do?
Sounds perfect. Exactly what we're trying to do, John.
And in that accord, we are going to taste a Shiraz.
Shiraz, yep.
Shiraz with Cabernet Sauvignon by a very, very famous label, Wolf Blass. And that's based, I think, in Australia, is that right, John?
Yeah, yep.
And is Cabernet Sauvignon a big sort of grape in?
Yeah, well, I mean, Wolf Blass themselves are quite a big concern. You'll see them in most supermarkets, most major supermarkets. Both Shiraz and Cabernet, they are probably some of the top grapes which Australia are producing. I'd probably say the Shiraz is their signature grape. The grape they grow the best. Which I suppose it's one of those things. Do they? Don't they? Yeah. I find Shiraz from other places can be nicer, but Shiraz from Australia does what it says on the tin, big, spicy, blackcurranty flavours. But this is a blend with the Cabernet as well. Now, Cabernet Sauvignon, I should say, is also quite a famous grape, and one that Australia do very well also. So a blending of these two should be a powerhouse. It should be, depending on how the winemaker's made it and everything. So yeah, it'd be interesting to see. But I say it's a big concern. It's a big concern that they're in most supermarkets. So be interesting to see how what their take on a Shiraz Cabernet blend.
I think it's very interesting that, obviously certain countries have certain reputations for certain grapes, but quite often you'll find a grape that comes from a country, a grape that's grown in a country that you don't normally associate with that particular grape, and it will be a great wine. And that it is all down to so many different factors. And obviously, it's down to the actual winemaker, it's down to the climate of the time. But, and it's down to your personal taste. So, don't be ashamed if someone else thinks this wine is wonderful, or critics say this wine is wonderful and you think it's crap, but you actually prefer something that they say is crap. At the end of the day, it's down to what you like, and that's all that matters in this.
Yeah, of course. So as we've been saying all the way through our videos, even if we think it's good, and you think it's not good, that is fine. That is fine. We're just trying to talk you through the bits and pieces and trying to point you in the right direction, as John says in the introduction, to find the wine that you love. Did I do that right?
You did. Yeah.
I've been practicing that.
A little bit of Barry White.
I'm doing the introduction next week.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
but anyway,
yeah, good.
Let's try some wine.
Okay. So colour-wise, it's quite deep, isn't it?
It's quite deep, but again, this is Shiraz Cabernet, and it's also from Australia. I'd expect that to be a little bit richer than that.
Would you?
Yeah, I'd expect that.
Would you say that darker, or?
Yeah, because Shiraz we've seen on many occasions really deep and purple. That is lovely. Got a purple colour. It's actually quite inviting. I'm saying, I've just put it down a little bit, but I'm looking at it. It's quite inviting, is that?
Yeah. Well, it's a glass of wine. It should be.
Yeah, always is. Let's have a go on the old nose.
Well, that's confusing me. I'm not sure what I'm getting out of that, John.
Well, I'm getting strawberry, which is not what I should using. Perhaps from the Cabernet, yeah, strawberry. I'll get that, but it says Shiraz Cabernet. Now, generally, when you're looking at a bottle of wine and it's a blend, it will say Shiraz Cabernet. Usually, the first name, the Shiraz, would be the predominant grape. So you would have, it doesn't tell you on this one, but the Shiraz would be probably maybe 60 to 80%, your Cabernet down from 40 to 20%. So I would expect the Shiraz to be the predominant grape in there, and as such, I would expect to smell the Shiraz more than the Cabernet. And I'm not smelling the Shiraz more than the Cabernet. I'm smelling strawberry, but there's also something else on.
Yeah, there's an edge to it, isn't there? Is that like it's a tobacco edge?
I think I'm getting for me it's what I'm getting there is that stereotypical, when people say they don't like wine, they smell rubber in wine because it smells like rubber, it tastes like rubber. I'm getting the rubber, but also almost a smokiness in there. And I think that might be the tobacco you're smelling. But let's have a taste. Let's see how this unfolds. It's intriguing.
It is.
It's intriguing.
The first thing I got some cherry. It was nice and round and soft. Then all of a sudden the tannins are still there. They're really hitting the back of my mouth. Like the tannins for me are just overdone.
That's it. Right. You see exactly what you're saying there. After tasting it, the strawberries on the nose, but you're right. Cherry. There's the cherry in there. But there's more of the smokiness which I got on the nose, which I think is... I think that must be what you're getting through is tobacco, which is fine. But you're right, those tannins are keen. Those tannins are a bit too...
Yeah.
For a wine of that calibre, those tannins need to be toned right down.
Yeah, it's taking away the pleasure for me. It's like now I'm taking the second mouthful and I'm enjoying the first bit, knowing that last bit's going to hit, and it's like, oh,
Yeah.
It's a little bit acidic in my throat as well with that.
Yeah. I know exactly what you mean. Well, just what you've said though, that you're enjoying perhaps the initial kind of front of the mouth flavour, the tongue, and you're kind of picking that out. But you know, a couple of seconds later, it's just going to, the stringency is just going to soak it all up, and it's got nothing to back itself up after that. Yeah, again, not for me, not a well structured wine. It's
No, the balance isn't there, is it? Which is obviously these guys know what they're doing. I mean, they're selling probably hundreds of thousands of these bottles around the world, so they know exactly what we're doing. So the fact that we're not enjoying it and the balance isn't right for us doesn't mean to say there isn't a market for it, and doesn't mean to say that you're not going to enjoy it. But I think if you don't, if someone, I think you've said this about another wine, if someone introduced you to red wine, you don't like red wine, and you tried this, if you don't like red wine, don't try this as an introduction, I would say. No,
well, one thing I will say, John, I've known it's £5.50 a bottle. Now, we've looked at price on many different wines. We've never judged a wine really, for being on the what we call the entry level, the cheaper wines. We've never really judged it as such, but what I would say, if you wanted to get into red wines, now naturally the first one you would go for would be on the entry level, the kind of cheaper end, which is absolutely understandable. But I think that would not be an entry level wine for people to try. If you want to get into red wine, I would not personally recommend that one for you to start on if you are trying your red wine. If you're starting on your red wine journey, that wouldn't be one I'd recommend.
No, this will probably put you off. And I mean, I don't know whether if you were to eat something with this, it might calm it down.
Well, it'd probably take all those tannins away.
Yeah.
But then you're not left with much after that. I mean...
No, the length is yeah.
And again, we're never here to kind of put wines down. We're just giving our personal opinions.
Absolutely.
And our personal opinion, well, my personal, I'm sure John agrees, with that is thin on the flavour, far too many tannins, not much to back itself up with. It might be £5.50, but I'd rather pay a couple of extra quid and get something.
Much as it irks me to say, so would I.
Believe me, it really does irk him to say that. It really does. You really, honestly, but
actually, having said that, I think that we have tasted some £5.50 bottles of wine.
Of course,
and actually, there are some that we've really enjoyed. We couldn't believe they were only £5.50.
Yeah.
So I just don't think. I mean, I understand these guys. They have big marketing budgets. As I say, maybe actually there are a lot of people, because people are going to continue to buy it. Therefore, it's an ongoing business. Therefore, people must like it. So if it's right for you, absolutely no criticism intended, please forgive me, just not right for me. And if you are, as I say, a person that's sort of trying to move into the red, I wouldn't suggest this one as something that'd be indicative of a red wine. Don't try this one as your first try.
No, definitely not.
Okay, well, you know, for us personally, this one really hasn't come up trumps for us.
No, but
Well, I suppose trumps isn't a word we should use currently in 2000. No, perhaps not.
but you win some and you lose some.
Absolutely. Maybe in
Again,
November he might lose. We never know. Maybe he won't. So, who knows? If you've enjoyed this video, more than we have on this occasion enjoyed this wine, please give us the thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. We look forward to seeing you in the next video when hopefully we can give you some more positive vibes about a wine we think you might enjoy. And so until then, chin chin.
Chin chin.